Was the biblical story of creation really about alien overlords known as the Anunnaki subjugating humanity? This explosive interpretation presents the ancient Book of Enoch as a mind-blowing anarchist manifesto against the oppressive New World Order imposed by the Anunnaki and their corrupt dynasty of divine kings. Did these extraterrestrial beings bring civilization as we know it, or did they corrupt the earth with their presence as fallen angels? Get ready to have your understanding of the origins of society and religion completely shattered. One of the most controversial texts ever buried by the religious establishment, the Book of Enoch raises mind-boggling possibilities about the Great Flood being punishment for Anunnaki's evil influence. Anunnaki is referred to in the Book of Enoch when it tells the story of the fallen angels called the Nephilim. It is divided into 5 parts, which deal with the evil deeds of the fallen angels, or Nephilim, also known as the Watchers with earthlings. The parables explain the judgment of the fallen angel watchers and the great deluge as punishment for the evil works of the fallen angels. The Book of Luminaries contains accurate astronomical data on the motions of the sun, moon, and stars, including the calculation of the lunar year of 364 days and why an additional year must be added after 4 years. The Book of Visions describes the past and future of human destiny under the oppressive system of divine kings. Lastly, a final apocalypse states that the righteous will be delivered from the wicked by the Son of Man or Messiah in the era after the flood. It has been suggested that the Book of Enoch's account of the fallen angels is about the activities of the Anunnaki alien gods told in the Hebrew Bible's account in Genesis. At first sight, the Book of Enoch appears to be a confusing, outlandish text, but perhaps it can be better understood if we interpret it in light of human history as recorded in the Mesopotamian texts detailing the activities of the Anunnaki, combined with the larger historical context of the agricultural revolution or civilization initiated in Sumer and its impact on humans in the ancient world. On this approach, the Book of Enoch is either a rejection of the Anunnaki, fallen angels, themselves as evil entities who corrupted the earth with civilization, or a rejection of the institution of divine kingship, which bases its legitimacy, real or imagined, on the will of the Anunnaki, fallen angels, over men. Whether the kings were truly appointed by the fallen angels, or if the Anunnaki gods were simply propaganda to shore up the power of human rulers, is debatable. Nevertheless, wherever the truth lies, the Book of Enoch is a rejection of the world order introduced, either by the Anunnaki, fallen angels, themselves, or by kings in their name, with the arrival of civilization and the agricultural revolution. To legitimize its narrative for the overthrow of the order of the Anunnaki fallen angels and their kings, the 5 books of Enoch set out the origins of the Anunnaki fallen angels, world order of kings, its negative, corrupting impact on human beings, the resolution and actions of the Most High against the Watchers or fallen angels to address the evil by causing the great deluge and providing a means by which the righteous can be saved from the great deluge by the Son of Man, Messiah, or the elect one before the final last judgment to come in future after the re-establishment of civilization in the era following the great deluge. Civ, the majesty, power, and knowledge Enoch received from the Most High in the form of accurate astronomical data. V, the final prophecy and visions on the past and future trials and tribulations of man, and how mankind will be finally delivered by the Most High through the Messiah or Son of Man, and final judgment will be passed on the wicked world order, to be replaced by a new era of eternal peace and justice, in which the weak and righteous will rejoice and receive the reward for their loyalty to the Most High. From this perspective, the Book of Enoch can be interpreted as a radical revolutionary anarchist text promising a new world order that will be more peaceful and satisfying than that of the Anunnaki fallen angels. What follows is a possible interpretation of the Book of Enoch based on selected quotes against the historical background and Sumerian texts. The Book of Enoch 1. The Judgment against the Fallen Angel Watchers. And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beg, children. And Semjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200, who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And these are the names of their leaders: Samiazaz, their leader, Arakiba, Ramael, Kokabiel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakijal, Asael, Armaros, Batarel, Ananel, Zakiel, Samsapael, Satarel, Turel, Jomjael, Sariel. These are their chiefs of tens, and all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds, and beasts, and reptiles, and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones, and Azazel taught men to make swords, and knives, and shields, and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets, and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Semjazah taught enchantments, and root cuttings. Armaros, the resolving of enchantments. Barakijal taught astrology. Kokabel, the constellations. Ezekiel, the knowledge of the clouds. Arakiel, the signs of the earth. Shamsiel, the signs of the sun. And Sariel, the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. It's clear from the Book of Watchers that Enoch attributes civilization and its corrupting influence to the fallen angels who came down from heaven and bore children with the daughters of men, i.e. the Nephilim. According to Enoch, the era of the fallen Nephilim angels was the beginning of culture as we know it today, from the magic arts, cosmetics, writing, kingship, and war. It can therefore be concluded that the Book of Watchers is a condemnation of the Anunnaki project of civilization on Earth, which Enoch views as a sinister project of wayward fallen angel spiritual entities unsanctioned by the Most High. The Book of Enoch 2, the parables of Enoch. And he, i.e. the angel, came to me and greeted me with his voice, and said unto me, This is the Son of Man, who born unto righteousness, and righteousness abides over him, and the righteousness of the head of days forsakes him not. And he said unto me, He proclaims unto thee peace in the name of the world to come. For from hence has proceeded peace since the creation of the world, and so shall it be unto thee forever and forever and ever. And all shall walk in his ways, since righteousness never forsaketh him. With him will be their dwelling places, and with him their heritage, and they shall not be separated from him forever and ever and ever. And so there shall be the length of days with that Son of Man, and the righteous shall have peace, and an upright way in the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. In the second book, Enoch explains the destruction of the earth in the great deluge as a judgment against the order of the fallen angel, Anunnaki watchers and kings. The weak and righteous are saved by the Son of Man to live in a special place in heaven in the presence of the Most High and the Son of Man, whilst the wicked fallen angels and their kings are banished to an eternal place of torment. The Book of Enoch 3. The Book of Luminaries. In the Book of Luminaries, the angel Uriel reveals the science of celestial motions to Enoch in order to demonstrate the power and knowledge of the Most High. To Enoch, this is a sign that his message is truly inspired by the Most High. Otherwise, who else could make and show him these awesome secrets beyond ordinary human comprehension? The Book of Enoch, or 4, Book of Visions. In Book 4, Enoch outlines the history and future of mankind, from the Great Deluge, the reestablishment of civilization, and the corruption that will follow, once again necessitating the need for a final deliverance by the Son of Man. Interesting to note is how the prophecy mirrors the Exodus story of the deliverance of the Israelites from Egypt, including the Red Sea incident. In Enoch, however, this deliverance is not reserved for a specific tribe or nation called Israel, but it's for all mankind suffering under the yoke of the Anunnaki fallen angels, world order of kings. The Book of Enoch 5, the final apocalypse. The Messiah or Son of Man appears once again during the post-flood corrupt civilization to execute a final judgment on the wicked and deliver the righteous, who will reside in eternal bliss in the presence of the Son of Man and the Most High. Agriculture introduced an oppressive system of population management and control for the extraction of agricultural surplus in the form of taxes by the ruling elites or kings, leading to undesirable social conditions and the rise of inequality amongst people in the ancient world. This may ultimately explain why the Book of Enoch was written and addressed to the weak and vulnerable lower classes in this social order, who felt no respite against the relentless and cruel power of the Anunnaki-appointed kings. It has also been proposed that the visions of Enoch were in fact the result of repeated alien abductions, which could explain the fantastical nature of the visions delivered using a hologram, using symbolism a human being could understand. In that case, the Book of Enoch may be a message to mankind from a higher order entity than the Nephilim fallen angels. The ideas in Enoch have infiltrated the Torah and biblical literature, with echoes of Enoch being found in the Old and New Testament right up to the Book of Revelation. The Book of Enoch, an ancient revolt against the Anunnaki world order. The Book of Enoch is one of the most explosive and suppressed texts in religious history, a scathing indictment of the Anunnaki, the so-called fallen angels, who ruled over early humanity as gods. Far from being a mere religious text, Enoch's writings present a radical, anarchist manifesto, a call to reject the oppressive world order imposed by these extraterrestrial overlords and their corrupt dynasty of divine kings. The shocking truth: the Anunnaki as fallen angels. The Book of Enoch describes 200 watchers, Nephilim, powerful beings who descended from the heavens, took human wives, and corrupted mankind with forbidden knowledge. These sons of God, Genesis 6, are strikingly similar to the Anunnaki gods of Sumer, who were said to have genetically engineered humanity and ruled over them as kings. According to Enoch, these watchers taught humans war, metallurgy, sorcery, and astrology, technologies that enslaved rather than liberated, bred hybrid giants, Nephilim, who oppressed and devoured mankind, established a tyrannical system of kingship, justifying their rule through divine mandate. This narrative aligns eerily with Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki's rule over early civilizations, suggesting that the Bible's fallen angels were in fact alien overlords who subjugated humanity, civilization as a curse, the Great Flood as divine retribution. Enoch's most damning revelation is that civilization itself was a corrupting force, a system designed to control and exploit humanity. The Great Flood, rather than being a random act of divine wrath, was punishment for the Anunnaki's corruption. The flood wiped out the Nephilim, the hybrid offspring of the Watchers. It reset humanity, sparing only the righteous, like Noah, who rejected the Anunnaki's rule. It was a divine intervention to cleanse Earth of their oppressive influence. This interpretation turns traditional religious narratives on their head. What if the gods we worship were not our creators, but our jailers? The Book of Enoch as a revolutionary text. Enoch's writings are not just theological, they are political. They expose the origins of oppression. The Anunnaki established kingship, taxation, and class hierarchy to control humanity. The corruption of knowledge. They gave humans technology without wisdom, leading to war and suffering. The promise of liberation. A Messiah, the Son of Man, will one day overthrow this system and establish true justice. This makes the Book of Enoch one of history's first revolutionary texts, advocating for the overthrow of a corrupt elite masquerading as gods. Enoch's visions, alien contact, or divine revelation. Enoch's celestial journeys, advanced astronomical knowledge, and holographic visions suggest something extraordinary. He may have been abducted or contacted by a higher intelligence, possibly a faction opposing the Anunnaki. His descriptions of flying chariots and divine judgments mirror modern UFO encounters. His prophecies align with Sumerian and biblical accounts, hinting at a hidden war between human freedom and Anunnaki control. The suppressed truth. Why was Enoch removed from the Bible? The Book of Enoch was deliberately excluded from the official biblical canon. Why? It undermines the authority of kings and priests who claim divine right. It exposes the Anunnaki as false gods, challenging religious orthodoxy. It reveals that human suffering stems from an imposed system, not divine will. The final judgment, a new world order. Enoch's ultimate message is one of hope and rebellion. The current world order is temporary, built on lies and oppression. A final reckoning is coming, where the Son of Man will judge the wicked and free the righteous. Humanity's true destiny is beyond the control of the Anunnaki. Conclusion: the war for human freedom. The Book of Enoch is not just an ancient text, it is a warning and a call to awakening. It reveals the Anunnaki were not benevolent creators, but oppressive rulers. Civilization, as we know it, was designed to control us. Our true history has been hidden, but the truth cannot be erased. The question remains, are we still living under their shadow? If Enoch's prophecies hold, their reign will end, and humanity will finally reclaim its destiny. The truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose. It will defend itself. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I love hearing from you. Check out more videos on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.